Watch this review here with a look at Killer Moth from the DC Universe Classics Wave 6, aka the Kalibak Wave. Moth comes with the torso of Kalibak, as well as an ancient Indian warning not to allow children under the age of 3 to play with this lest they suffer from a terrible curse. As that's the first time I've ever seen that warning, I'm assuming it's just a sticker a retailer stuck on. There's a brief bio here if you want to pause and read, but basically the huge highlight here is that he's just another gimmick villain from Batman's earlier stories. In fact, his first appearance is listed as Batman number 63, March 1951. His real name is Drury Walker. No wonder why he became a villain. Occupation, career criminal. Good work if you can find it. Base of operations, Gotham City. Special ability, suit that allows flight, cocoon gun, and sonar waves. Since this is the torso piece figure, let me just give you a quick overview of the rest of the wave. The other figures are Hawkman, Superman, the recovery suit version. He also has a normal costume variant with the mullet as well, which I own and previously reviewed. Mr. Miracle. The variant for this is Dr. Impossible, but who'd want to get Dr. Impossible because he comes with fewer accessories. I know that's probably a little bit nerdy, but whatever. And Shazam, the figure I probably most want from this wave, but haven't been able to get a hold of cheaply. It's actually Captain Marvel, but that's a story for another time. And our Build-A-Figure is Kalibak. Before we start talking about Killer Moth, let's have a quick look at this Kalibak piece here. As you can see, it's got a cool amount of detail around the face, but the rest of the body is, I don't know, it's still pretty decent. And in the tradition of the review spot, I'm going to add my other piece to it from the Superman. I have the mace, but I don't have it with me at the moment, but it should, there it goes, snap in, and here we go. He's going to be a sort of big figure, but not tremendously big. I imagine he'll be bigger than Mongol for sure, but can't wait to get them together, but it will take a while because I still need to pick up that Captain Marvel. Back on to Killer Moth. He's really one of those DC Universe Classics figures where you really get your money's worth because he's got a really different paint job, which of course represents the character in his weird costume. A completely different looking head sculpt. Comes with an accessory and wings, which by the way are completely unique. No other DC Universe Classic to date has had wings like these. But they are a pain to get out of package. I had to end up chopping the blister up just to get them out because they don't come out or anything. They don't actually move. Character-wise, he was sort of a direct foil for Batman when he first came out. He was offering his protection services to various criminals in Gotham. Like if they ran into Batman, they could just toss up a Moth signal, and then he'd come flying over to stop Batman, and supposedly he even had like a Mothmobile and everything, but nobody would, obviously he didn't hire anybody to protect himself from Batman, so he got caught eventually. He's made numerous appearances in other media, but usually he's completely overshadowed by Firefly, because let's face it, Firefly is just a lot cooler than Killer Moth. Especially this weird design. Half the time when he does make an appearance, though, he ends up like getting mutated or something. So anything to make him a bit tougher. Now he's got a really cool head sculpt here. Now I'm not 100% sure if this is which version of the character this represents, if this is classic or not, 'cause I'm not a huge fan of the guy. You'll notice he's got his little Namekian tentacles, antennae up. The face looks kind of like beak-like though, so kind of weird. In terms of articulation, it will go up a bit, but just not enough for like a flying character. And he's got some sort of factory residue or something there. Plus, this shoulder is really stiff. I've been trying to do stuff with it, but it's still giving me a lot of trouble. For some reason, the cocoon gun came in his right hand here, but it only really fits securely in the left. Also, notice the gaudy little China right here. Yeah, let's put words right on his gun. Because, he probably got his gun from China. I don't know. hate when they do stupid stuff like that, but as you can see, wrist moves, elbow moves, bicep moves, shoulder has a range of motion, wings have no motion, which is disappointing but expected. Movement here at torso, standard leg, though I can't imagine you'd kick all that often, knee, thigh, ankle. Now it's actually kind of interesting that they opted for 2 open hands here where you'd fit the gun, because a lot of other figures, they just give you 1 open hand and 1 closed hand, so you're kind of forced into using the gun in one hand or the accessory in one hand over the other. I mean, I think it's a nice touch. He's also got this little holster on the side where you can store the gun. Please note that the word China is still clearly visible, and no matter how far you try to... There it goes. Now the word China is no longer visible, so it kind of looks like a real gun. You know, if it was painted more than one color. I hate how they do weapons detailing. In terms of other paint, it's mostly solid tones, but just due to the variety of colors, that's not immediately apparent. He has some shadowing right here at the abs, and then a little bit on each of the biceps. But other than that, he's got no real color variation. Well, basically like all the other standard DC Universe classics. But you know, he's just a really kind of cool figure, but at the same time, he's just a figure that nobody really cares about. I mean, when I first saw the wave, I figured I did not want to pick this guy up. But then I got him in pack, and I thought he looked pretty hot, so I left him on the wall for a while. Then I opened him up, and guess what? Not that impressed again. But you know, my feelings will probably change if I can get him into a half-decent display, and if I ever get this piece of glue or whatever it's caked on out of there, because I think they glue the things in separate. It's not just all molded at the same time. I'm actually kind of impressed because there's no bleed with the eyes there, and just so many action figures these days we have a live bleed. On the whole, I don't know what to say about this figure. But again, a lot of that just has to do with not having many strong feelings about the character. Either like, dislike, or whatever. It's just a complete neutral. I mean, I just kind of like the fact he's got his little tacky moth symbol and stuff on the center, and it kind of is like a direct counterpart to Batman, because he goes for all these bright colors instead of Batman's darker and more somber tones. But I don't know, all in all, probably not a really strong buy, although he does have a semi-unique look to him as opposed to a lot of other classic figures. Until next time, folks.